Welcome to African Today, the voice of a changing continent. We bring you the stories shaping Africa's present and future, from breaking news and bold analysis to culture, innovation, and voices on the ground. We're here to inform, inspire, and amplify the heartbeat of Africa every single day. Thank you for stopping by the channel. We hope you enjoy our video. Let's begin. Burkina Faso and Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the dawn of a free Africa. In the heart of West Africa, where the pulse of Pan-Africanism is beginning to beat stronger than ever, a new figure has emerged. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the young, determined leader of Burkina Faso. At only 36 years old, he has become the symbol of a new generation of African leadership, rejecting neocolonialism, fighting terrorism, and championing self-reliance. As his influence grows, many across the continent are beginning to see in him the embodiment of hope, courage, and a revolutionary spirit that could finally lead Africa into a new era of true freedom and sovereignty. The rise of Captain Ibrahim Traoré. Captain Traoré came to power in September 2022 through a military coup that ousted Lieutenant-Colonel Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba, who himself had taken power just 8 months earlier. The political instability of Burkina Faso had mirrored a wider pattern across the Sahel. Weak governments, jihadist insurgencies, economic stagnation, and a frustrated youth desperate for change. Traoré stepped in promising something different. A war on terrorism that would no longer rely on Western powers and a vision of Burkina Faso built by and for its people. Breaking free from the French grip. For decades, Burkina Faso and many other former French colonies in West Africa have remained under the shadow of France's influence. Whether through military cooperation, economic control via the CFA franc, or cultural dominance, the specter of French colonialism has never truly disappeared. Traoré's stance has been clear. It is time to end this dependency. Under his leadership, Burkina Faso has cut military ties with France, expelled French troops, and closed French-owned media outlets that were seen as tools of propaganda. This bold defiance has sent shockwaves throughout the region. Mali and Niger, led by their own military leaders, have taken similar steps. Together they form the Alliance of Sahel States, a powerful new bloc rejecting Western neocolonial interests and forging a path forward based on cooperation, security, and self-determination. A war for survival and sovereignty. One of Traoré's primary missions has been to reclaim Burkina Faso's territory from jihadist groups that have terrorized the population for years. These groups, many with alleged ties to international interests, have destabilized the Sahel and created conditions of chaos, conditions which outside powers have exploited for economic and political gain. Under Traoré's command, the Burkinabe armed forces have launched major counteroffensives, retaken large swaths of land, and defended vulnerable communities. Perhaps most significantly, he has mobilized tens of thousands of civilian volunteers to defend their homeland, a grassroots approach that emphasizes ownership of the nation's future by its people. The war is far from over, but the spirit of resistance has returned. A voice for Pan-African unity. Beyond the borders of Burkina Faso, Captain Traoré has become a vocal advocate for a united, sovereign Africa. His speeches and actions reflect the teachings of Pan-African legends like Thomas Sankara, Patrice Lumumba, Kwame Nkrumah, and Muammar Gaddafi, leaders who envisioned a continent free from foreign control, rich in its resources, and united under one African identity. Traoré has called for the rejection of Western interference in African affairs, control over Africa's natural resources to benefit African people, reform or elimination of exploitative economic structures like the CFA franc, mutual defense agreements among African nations, education and media that reflect African values, not colonial ones. This message resonates deeply with millions of Africans, especially the youth, who are tired of poverty, dependency, and exploitation. Social media in particular has amplified Traoré's image as a freedom fighter, drawing comparisons to the revolutionary icon Thomas Sankara, who was himself assassinated in 1987 for daring to challenge the global order. Challenges ahead. Despite his growing popularity, Captain Traoré faces immense challenges. The fight against terrorism remains intense, International pressure and sanctions loom, and critics warn of authoritarianism under military rule. Moreover, Burkina Faso's economy is fragile, and the burden of war weighs heavily on its people. There is also the constant threat of subversion, covert efforts by foreign intelligence agencies, economic destabilization, and information warfare aiming to paint him as a tyrant or extremist. African leaders who challenge the global status quo have historically paid the price. But Traoré seems aware of these dangers. He has remained humble in his appearance, rejected luxury, and continuously emphasizes that the power belongs to the people. His goal, he says, is not to rule forever, but to lay the foundation for a truly free and sovereign Burkina Faso. Time to free Africa. Captain Ibrahim Traoré's rise is not just the story of a single man or a single country, it is the story of a continent beginning to awaken from a long and painful slumber. It is the story of Africa reclaiming its voice, its land, and its dignity. Across Ghana, Senegal, Nigeria, the DRC, South Africa, and beyond, young Africans are watching closely. They are beginning to ask questions. They are beginning to organize. They are beginning to believe. The time to free Africa is now. No longer must Africans accept puppet leaders who sell out their nations for foreign aid. No longer must they tolerate the theft of their minerals, their labor, and their future. No longer must they look to the West for salvation. The answers are within. From Ouagadougou to Bamako, from Niamey to Kinshasa, from Cape Town to Cairo, the winds of change are blowing. Captain Ibrahim Traoré may not be the final liberator of Africa, but he may be the spark that ignites a fire across the continent. Africa must rise, and she will. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe to help grow the channel. Until next time, see you soon.